Mykle Hansen again. Still.
It's a beautiful day in downtown Portland.
It is a nice day. We're at the Standard Insurance Center. Apparently there's a, there might be, let's walk up to the groping sculpture.
There's a whole row of sort of vaguely molesty sculptures up and down the bank blocks here. But this one's gorgeous.
Yeah. I think there's a sculpture in the basement here in the parking garage too, like a well-known sculpture. That's what I was reading, that's what I heard the other day.
So know by who?
Tweet. Bill West, maybe? Bill, I can't remember them.
Color me ignorant.
So, we were talking a little bit about your book, creative process. What do you do, don't you think that writers sometimes they're like, oh, you know, I'm a writer and I gotta go experience life, and it's like they're justified alcoholism or something like that? Or like
I justify a lot of stuff that way,
yeah,
but not alcoholism.
I'm a writer, so I can ride my, so.
Well, the condition of it, now that it's like a full-time thing for me and not just a part-time thing, it's really paradoxical because being an observer and a documenter of life takes you out of whatever situation you're in really easily if you let it. Suddenly you're like, I'm not really here with you guys, I'm just watching you. And you get really voyeuristic and it's very isolating. And the cure, of course, is to do something, anything else. But like, I don't know, I mean, I don't mean to complain, but I have a lot of free time. And a lot of, if I'm not careful about actually finding challenges and adventures and interesting things to go do.
What are some interesting challenges that you task yourself with? I know I saw you do the aqua bike.
Yeah, that's a great example. Let's see if we can ride bicycles across a river. That's, yeah.
That was awesome.
That was fun.
That was super cool.
Of course, that's not my challenge so much as I was invited on a yearly expedition that the Chunk 666 bicycle crew goes on.
So, what are some of your other favorite secret Portland spots? Where would you go? Where would you take a date, for instance?
God.
Like, what's a good, like, or like someone comes into town, where do you take them when you visit Portland?
Well, it's funny because somebody comes to Portland, they always want to go to Voodoo Donuts and they want to go to Powell's Book. And last time I had a visitor in town, I was like, it's a beautiful day. Everybody thinks that this river is full of poop, but I happen to know that they just cleaned it up. Let's go hang out underneath a bridge and bathe ourselves in the river where the homeless bathe. And we went and did that, and it was awesome. Hanging out under bridges is actually a real fond
we have some
activity
good
of mine. Yeah. Especially by the water, on the Columbia or here on the Willamette. Spots where it's like massive architecture and beauty exists, but nothing really commercial is there for you. It's not like advertised, there's no shopping there.
I like the, yeah, I know what you're saying. I like the area over by where the tram is, because it's like, it's like, okay, there's
South
like,
Waterfront.
Yeah, South Waterfront.
South Waterfront is so weird. I mean, it couldn't be, you know, it's funny because we're standing here in Occupy Portland and it's pretty much the opposite architecturally and in its intention. I mean, you couldn't get it to be a more different place than South Waterfront. Here, everything's slapped together in a hurry by people on a mission with like not a lot of resources, but tons of enthusiasm.
I consider South Waterfront as, I consider the Pearl as like 2 years after the zombies attack and pretty much wipe out everyone. But like society's coming back, and then the South Waterfront's like 6 months after the attack, where there's like more buildings and more apartments and stuff than people, you know? There's no real like grocery stores or anything over there. It's just it's like a ghost town, but it's a ghost
town. It's tremendously deserted over here, whereas like here where we are, it's like totally full of life and crowded with people. South Waterfront, I have some theories about it. Either they really have just not sold more than 10% of the condos in all of those towers, which would make a lot of sense. And that's why there's nobody around.
I think the people that bought them just bought them and they're sitting on them, and then they'll come visit every once in a while.
Yeah, or they were all sold to people who don't live in them. Or else, the sad possibility is that all of the architecture of like public space in there, which is, you can't say they didn't put a lot of thought and work into it, because there's tons of little sidewalks and benches everywhere, more benches per square mile than anywhere in Portland. They really want you to come outside and sit on a bench there. And little parks and parklets and little pedestrian paths, and there's little babbling.
Did you ever go to that venture? They had the venture building to like help sell those resources.
No.
And it was like a building, but they had a small like a landscape, like a model of what the city would look like down there. So it was pretty cool. That was a fun little like excursion too.
My buddy Kyle.
And then there's the
yeah, and then they did the same thing again, but larger.
yeah.
Yeah, but man, I mean, I would love, I don't know what it would be like. Like if Occupy Portland were going to say, okay, we don't have enough room here, we're moving to the South Park blocks, and we're just going to like go down there, we're going to occupy at least one tower. What would it be like? Well, first of all, nobody would know that they did it, because the interior lives of the people in those buildings are completely mysterious to the outside world. You're sealed off. You know if somebody's lights are on or not. Yeah, and whether or not they've got their window open, maybe. So it would have no presence. And that's the thing there. It's like it's totally absent. Still, I sort of dream of like a day in which all of those towers there are squatted and there's like clotheslines running between them and like a 30th floor and like rope swings and people are like rappelling off the side of them.
I saw a ropes. I saw a. Speaking of rope swings, there aren't rope swings. I saw a billboard swing on the internet today that I thought was pretty innovative.
Yeah.
It's just a swing set, but on a billboard that was pretty high up.
I'm sure there's great spots for that everywhere. Here in Portland, we're remarkably less blighted by billboards than most other cities.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate.
It was literally a decision the city made. It was during the Katz era to say, like, we're against outdoor advertising. We don't want any more of these. And then the billboard people sued and said, well, if we can't have that, you can't have murals either, because it's the same thing. And that's why you can't have fucking murals in Portland. It's because if they did that, then they'd be sued for not allowing outdoor advertisement. Huh. It's pretty double-edged sword, the law there. But still, I'm probably happier with neither than with both.
There's a gang unit for the police right there. You see that?
Dang. Well, you might just be parking in order to go up there.
Well, yeah, probably.
Because here we are occupying the lot in front of the police station. Like, the cops don't even need to drive to come out and bust everybody here.
That's why they do more busts here than I seriously, I call the police all the time. They never show up in my neighborhood.
No.
Like, you know what? No one walks or patrols my neighborhood. And like, if they had someone that just walked through the neighborhood every once in a while, there'd be way less drug and.
Dude, yeah, where you like Sixth and Cooch for a decade was just like, I want to buy some drugs from a sketchy person I don't know out in the middle of the city. Where should I go? Probably Sixth and Cooch in Northeast Portland.
Any bus depot area in the world you can go to.
I suppose. But I mean, we're trying to make more of those.
Hey, thanks, Michael.
Sure.